considering that over the years, the storage and the way we, keep our harvested crops has increased. Abhijit Sen joins us now. He's professor with JNU. Mr. Sen, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Monsoons have been abundant. Monsoons have been extended. Abundance is good, but extension is where the problem is. Do you think this time around, long monsoon will have impact on crops and then inflation?
Yes, this year's monsoon has been extremely abnormal. The total monsoon is extremely good, but the pattern is not just weird, but on balance, bad for crops. We do have the first advanced estimate on kharif production from the ministry. Now that shows not much change from last year. Rice up a little bit, other cereals down a little bit, cereals on the whole about the same as last year. Pulse is down by about 10%. Oil seeds up slightly, very marginally, and cotton and sugarcane down, not very large, but down significantly. So roughly the forecast at the moment from the official sector is that it's a output which is a little bit less than last year's for these major crops. I think this might actually go down as next estimates come up for the reasons that there is likely to be an impact on yields, especially harvested yields, and these figures that the government is putting out at the moment depend mainly on the area sown. So I think there might be some downward revisions, but I don't think it's going to be hugely less than last year, except in certain crops where the late rainfall, as you said, would have affected harvesting, and for certain fruits and vegetables where it's not just the harvesting, it would have had an effect on the logisticals. So broadly, it's a good average monsoon accompanied by at best average and almost certainly below average output. So that's the story. What's its effect on inflation? Difficult to say because that depends as much on demand. What I can say, however, is that given this outcome, we'll have to wait till Rabi for the agricultural sector to give any demand impetus to the economy. What happens to prices would depend upon what is happening to demand in the rest of the economy, which at the moment doesn't look all that great, and on how the government is able to manage and implement its minimum support price systems, which too is going to be under tremendous pressure because stocks are extremely high.
Sure. So, I know that you've said it'll depend on demand, but what's your sense, Professor Sen, in terms of the spending power of the rural economy? Do you see it bouncing back soon? We've just come out of festive season and trends otherwise have been encouraging, but what's your sense when it comes to the rural economy?
See, I don't know what you guys mean by trends have been encouraging. Yes, the stock market looks good, but open today's paper, you've got a 5% decline in the core sector in IIP. You've got Cognizant laying off huge number of workers. All of these on the front page along with the stock market doing well. So the point is that if the stock market is picking up something which is not a part of what is captured, say, in the indices of production, either agriculture or industry, and is well above what's going on even in, say, the IT sector, that would have an effect, obviously. I'm not sure what that effect is what's being factored into to get that effect. And as far as the agricultural sector is concerned, I think forget any real bounce in Kharif. The bounce, if it comes, and it's very likely to come, will be in Rabi. That's simply because the high rainfall, although it hasn't been that great for the Kharif crop, is going to actually keep your reservoirs full, and that will be good for Rabi. So if you want to bounce, wait till May.
Sen, just to sum up, what you're saying, if I've got it correctly, you're saying that as of now, it's okay when it comes to crops. The inflation picture looks low, is on the lower side, and which means that as of now, the rural economy is not really going anywhere.
That's right. That is right.
So what do you think then, would be that silver lining, or what do you think would be needed apart from the overall rainfall factor?
See, at the moment, even more than output is the price realization of farmers. And if anything, is keeping farm spending, farm business confidence, farmers' outlooks on what the future looks like, is to do with a simple thing, which is, am I going to get a decent price for the crop I grow? And I think nothing has changed on that. And you'll have this year where, the rainfall is bad. Some people were expecting a very good output. Because the rainfall came along at the wrong time, they're going to lose it. So you're going to have a lot of people very distressed, and you need to get out of that distress, you need a damn good crop and good prices. As I said, I can see some of that for Rabi, but that's, one season on, so it starts only coming in April, and you'll see the full effects only in May. Yeah. But even then, the market has to give the farmer a good price. So really, it all depends on the overall demand situation in the economy and the demand situation for the farm sector. Now, on that side, monsoons aren't going to deliver. Monsoons might deliver a higher output, but they aren't going to deliver demand, and I can't quite see where that demand is going to come from, that extra great demand to keep up farm prices. On the other hand, a lot of people are sitting back and saying that agricultural output will sort of go back up. You'll have a boost coming from the agricultural sector, from the rural sector. I think it's not just a chicken and egg problem, it just doesn't add up.
But bottom line, we can talk about crop prices, Professor Sen, we can talk about, monsoon, but somewhere if the real estate prices in India or the land prices in India, if they don't recover, do you think the rural economy will remain under stress? I mean, do you think that is the big trend which we need to monitor?
Yes, I think a lot of these prices that you're talking about, which is land, real estate, are things where decisions by people in the market are being made looking ahead. These are not things you're doing just for today. These are things which have built into them an outlook of the buyer and the seller about what is likely to happen tomorrow. That's the nature of any investment, real estate, or things like that. And that requires that confidence returns to the economy. So this is a relatively slow growing phenomenon. Until it does, it's a fairly good indication of animal spirits generally. So you need to have something which is outside the normal to jolt back those animal spirits. The only thing we've had so far is the corporate tax cut, and that's not going to do much for the real estate sector.
We were in middle of the interview. I could hear that there are 3 planes which have just, crossed. So are you very close to the airport? Because I could hear aeroplanes and helicopters.
Yeah.
At least people are still flying.
No. It's we are close to the airport, all right, but.
I always miss this about Delhi, the gardens, and you can sit in the garden and you can enjoy early morning chai. Trust me, in Mumbai, nothing of that sort happens to us. So next time I am in Delhi, I'll definitely drop into JNU campus. It's a beautiful campus, and maybe enjoy a cup of tea with you.
Yeah, you please do.
Okay. Well, that was Professor Abhijit Sen talking us about, this time rainfall has been good, abundant, but also an extended monsoon means that some crops will have impact, especially the crops which have just been harvested. It may not be very inflationary, but this is something which is just going to delay the agrarian income or the agrarian economy slightly more further.